To be here. Today we're going to be learning Mesilat Yesharim, chapter 2, because I have a specific message to give over. The topic of the class is what's called in Hebrew Cheshbon Nefesh, which means introspection or reviewing yourself. Monitoring, how do you say? Like a monitoring yourself? That's the word?
Monitoring.
How do you say it?
Monitoring, right?
Monitoring yourself. And so it was very important for me to, in general, my rabbi taught me, Rav Shlomo Aviner, that whenever you do something new in your life, don't do it on the expense of the old, but do it as an add-on to the old. It was very hard for me after many years of teaching with you, learning together Mesilat Yesharim, to move to Kuzari and drop the Mesilat Yesharim. And what happened was I was actually sitting and doing my own, reviewing my Cheshbon Nefesh, and I felt that in the Kuzari it was much harder for me to prepare for it than it was the Mesilat Yesharim. It's very deep, it's very complex, and I felt like I needed more time to prepare for it. So I came up with a great idea. The weeks that I feel I'm not ready yet, I tell Rav Listman I'm not ready, I need a little more time. This week we'll learn Mesilat Yesharim. Okay. And that's a win-win situation. Because then I get to keep Mesilat Yesharim going, and I get to have a little more time if I'm not ready for the class in Kuzari. You're with me? Okay. And again, the Mesilat Yesharim is a book that you need to review over and over and over again, and it's never enough. And you have to always remember that the Ramchal writes in the introduction, the book is not to teach you things you don't know. It's not an intellectual book, it's a workbook. It's not a book that you learned and now you put aside. I learned that, I'll go learn another book. No, it's a book your whole entire life. You need to be learning it. My rabbi wakes up every morning and learns Mesilat Yesharim. Because there's some things that are very, how do you say, obvious, are very important, very simple. But because our lives are complicated, and we make things complicated, and we forget, and we somehow lose track of the most basic, most important things that we need to remember and focus on. That's why when we pray every day, we say the same prayers. Why? Because you need to remember certain basic things. Thank you, God, for giving me my soul back and believing in me and letting me be in the world. Simple things that need to be reminded. Because we have something that's called forgetting, it's a gift that God gave us. But every medication has side effects. So if you have this medication of forgetting, it's there to make you forget the negative things you went through, the suffering, the challenges. But it also makes you forget being grateful, being all the good things that you need to remember, because you forget. So therefore, the medication that you take, as you say in the prayer, you remind yourself certain things that you may have forgotten, and that way you took the supplement that you needed to the negative side effects of the medication. You're with me? That being said, I want to talk today about the subject of Cheshbon Nefesh. Imagine somebody comes to you and tells you, I have the greatest revolutionary idea that you ever heard in your life.
So do it yourself, no, do not share it with me, no?
If somebody tells you, I have the most incredible, revolutionary idea that will change your life, you'd say, okay, what is it? Here it is. You ready? Think good and it will be good. Whatever you think that you want to happen will happen. So you could say, wow, that's a pretty amazing idea. There's only one problem. It's not true. If it was true, the rabbis would have told us in thousands of years of knowledge and wisdom and history, they would have told us the secret. So somebody came and said in the name of a Chabad Rebbe that he said, think good will be good. Only problem is, it's not true. And if it was true, you would have to prove it, showing the source for it in the scriptures, in the writings. You can't just come up with an idea. Rav Kook came up with an idea. We need to build a state, an army. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Where are you coming up with all this? In Judaism, because we have something that is so good, we're not looking for something new. In the world, they're always looking for something new. A new idea, because they don't have something that's good. They're looking for something new. For us, the words chadash, which means new, it's the letters chashad. We are concerned. We are weary. We are skeptical. If you can prove to me that the new is old, I'll accept it. Like the Rav Kook said, Hayashan yitchadesh, ve'achadash titkadesh. The old will become new, and the new will become holy. If you can prove that your new idea was already existed and has proof and backing from the Torah, then I can accept it. Otherwise, take your new ideas and keep them to yourself. Meditation. The new Jewish way is meditation. Well, the rabbis knew about meditation. You found the way to relax. That's great. Enjoy it. Why do you have to turn it into Torah? You want to, right? You want to breathe. You want to do that. Great. It's not. This tefillah is not meditation. Why am I saying all this introduction? The Ramchal, in the second chapter in the book Mesilat Yesharim, talks about the most revolutionary, the most incredible chiddush. Now again, I just want to go back and finish what I was saying about Rav Kook. Rav Kook said, a chiddush. We need a state of Israel, we need an army, we need a government. Whoa, where are you coming from? That's all old. We had a state. We had an army. We had a government. It's all there. It's all in the Torah, and the Nevi'im, the Ketuvim, the Gemara. Everything's there. So Rav Kook proved, and it's simple to prove, David HaMelech was a king of a state. Shlomo HaMelech was a king of a state. We had an army. We had a state. We had a government. This is old stuff. So it's okay. It's good. We can accept it. But don't come and give me now new things that don't have sources. Okay? Why am I saying this? We're going to talk about the revolutionary chiddush that the Ramchal is going to bring us here in the second chapter. And he brings all the sources for it. What is this revolutionary thing? The Ramchal goes on and on. Before we go into that, I want to just give a little introduction, background. What is the Mesilat Yesharim when it comes to Zehirut? Okay? The Ramchal wrote the masterpiece, the second most sold book in the Jewish library after the Bible, which is the Mesilat Yesharim. What's so incredible about this book? That everybody learns it. From Hasidim to Sephardi, Ashkenazi, everybody, Litvish, everybody studies this book. People have different ways of studying it, but the book is the masterpiece. It's the book and the guidebook on how to have Ruach HaKodesh, how to reach the highest spiritual level you can reach in this world. In the world post-prophecy. Since the Second Temple and prophecy stopped, the highest spiritual level is Ruach HaKodesh. Ruach is wind from above, God's spirit that drives you, that moves you, that you are connected, that you're guided by God. And this is the book, how to reach it. And there's 9 steps, and we're not going to go into all the steps, but the first step, the first practical step, is called Zeirut. And the way the Ramchal built his book, I haven't done this in a long time. Every character that the Ramchal brings us has 4 parts. Can I erase this? Do you need it?
Yeah.
Every character has 4 parts. When you want to be able to really know something, acquire something, make it yours, you have to break it into 4 parts. Klal, Prat, Kniya, Hefsed. So every one of the Ramchal's character building, character traits, this is a character trait that's called Zeirut. We'll explain what it is, how we get there, but the way the Ramchal works, and this is the rule for everything in life. Anything in life you want to understand, you want to acquire in your personality, in your character, you have to break it down to 4 parts. Klal is to understand the overview, the big picture. Prat, how do I bring it down to practical steps? Practical steps. What's the next? What do I have to do exactly? Tell me what to do. Right? You could have a lot of amazing ideas. You could understand big things. But now how are you going to take all the vision and bring it into steps of making it happen in this world? That's prat. Okay? A detailed plan, not just, I want to save the world. Okay, how are you doing that? Here's the details of what I'm doing exactly. Practical steps in this world. Number 3 is motivation. Motivation means it's not enough to just say, I want to save the world. And here's my plan, how I'm doing it. You could know exactly what to do. You could even spell it out. You could say it, all the words. I need to do 1, 2, 3, 4. But why aren't you doing it? If you know the big picture and you know what to do, you know even the steps to take, why aren't you taking the steps? I don't have motivation. Motivation is very important. Okay? And then, once you acquired it, the motivation helped you to actually make it yours. Then you have to take the step of what to do not to lose it. What we call in English, maintenance and upkeep. You know what to do. You understood why marriage is good. You actually went to a matchmaker, you signed up to a dating app, but you needed a little motivation, you got motivation, you got it, and you got married. Now you have to stay married and stay happily married and not get divorced. So there's steps and there's program, there's a whole, Ramchal built a whole program, exactly what to do in each character split to 4 parts, and how not to how to not lose it, how to stay just as love as you were when you met for your whole entire life. It's not because people think, okay, all right, I got married, I reached the peak, and now it's downhill. No. If you do what the Ramchal says, you just keep going up. Higher and higher and higher. That's what a comfort. What a gift to know that it's not that you went up and you go down. You went up and you keep going up if you take the steps that the Ramchal says. Okay? Hine. So now, the Ramchal says, I'm just giving you ideas from chapter 2 because I have a certain message I want to give over in this class. A new tool that I learned, I'm using it for this cheshbon nefesh, what we call reviewing, overseeing yourself, being aware of yourself. So first of all, let's explain in the overview, what is the problem? Why are we not aware of our emotional world, of our character? Why do we do things that are bad for us? Because that's what Zeirut is to develop a very high level of awareness. Zeirut means awareness for your spiritual, emotional world. So first of all, how do you do that? Secondly, why don't we do that? Why is it such a challenge for us that we overeat, that we get angry, that we watch things we shouldn't watch, that the list can go on and on and on? Why aren't we cautious and careful? So to explain that, the Ramchal gives us a very simple parable or example from something in the world, that through that we can come to understand why we are not very aware of our character, emotional world, our behaviors. What's the example the Ramchal gives us? Kesus hashatuf b'milchama. A horse that runs. The prophet said this, that people are like horses that run in war. Okay? That's what Yirmiyahu said. You're not looking after yourself. You're like horses running in battle. What is this example that Yirmiyahu gave us? That people are not asking themselves, why am I acting this way? The answer is, if you look at an animal, I don't know if you ever saw, a cat could be sleeping, and in a drop of a pin, in a second, when it feels danger, it can go from 0, sleeping, to jump up to the top of the tree. From sleeping, resting, suddenly danger, boom. It means that in Hebrew the word is eranut. Right? Eranut means a certain awakeness. Even when it's sleeping, it's always on guard to protect its body. Right? The cat, the animal. So the big question we have to ask is, then why does a horse, they used to use horses for battle, why would a horse run in battle directly to the guy standing with the spear? If the natural state of the animal is to take care of its body and not be in danger of being killed, then why does a horse run in battle directly to the spear and run into the spear?
Sometimes, if I'm not mistaken, they cover the horse's eyes.
They don't cover the horse's eyes. They cover the sides of the eyes sometimes. That'll not to see, other not to get sidetracked. But they don't cover the eyes. The horse won't walk. They don't cover the eyes. A horse blind won't walk. They did put, like on the side so it would stay, focused, and run straight. But still, it would run right into a guy with a spear in battle. Why? How?
There's a man on him directing him. The horse.
Yeah, he's directing him, but the horse would fight it.
Maybe the
Why?
He doesn't realize.
Like
that
the
there's a
story of
problem.
Bilam. Bilam was walking. There was a angel with a sword, and he was walking into the wall, and he sat down and wouldn't move because there was an angel with a spear. So why in battle the horse runs straight towards the battle, till the spear?
Horse doesn't have any awareness. Like
No, not just horses, elephants, all the animals, whatever they used for battles, would walk right into the danger. Why is that?
doesn't sense any danger.
Right.
How does it not sense danger? It sees the guy standing with the
But
spear.
he doesn't realize that it's a weapon.
The answer
If there's another animal that's going to attack him.
no. A horse. If you come to a horse with a spear, it will start to run like it feels it. It knows it. The animals also. A dog. They if you come with a knife or anything towards a sword towards a dog, it knows what's coming. They have a sense that something's going to kill them. The answer is, and we don't understand this whole world, but there was a whole educational system. They knew how to bypass the sensor that makes the animal afraid. They had all kinds of systems of training it with who knows what they used. They had all kinds of systems so that you could bypass. The same way you have a sensor that tells you when there's smoke, you can bypass it, and now it doesn't tell you the smoke. You cut out the sensor. They had ways to educate, to train the animals. There's no danger. What does this come to teach us? The same thing in our inner world. We are all born after the sin of Adam and Eve, which means Elohim asa et Adam Yashar. God created us Yashar. Mesilat Yesharim is a book to get you back to become on the track, back to your true self, of you being aware of yourself, of you being connected to God, of not sticking your hand into the fire because you understand that that's danger, it's going to hurt, it's dangerous. So the same way they bypassed the animal's sensors of protection for its body, we are all born after the sin, and therefore we are all bypassed. We have a certain bypass for the dangers, the things that are unhealthy for our nefesh, what we call personality, our soul, our character, and therefore we do things that are bad for us. Whether it's overeating, whether it's getting angry, whether it's looking at things we shouldn't look at, all these things come from a place that it's not who we truly are. It's like somebody smokes cigarettes for many years. When he smokes, he's relaxed, he's happy, feels good, he can focus. He doesn't smoke, suffering, angry, doesn't feel good, feels sick. So what do we say here? Is the person's nature to smoke or to not smoke? The answer is, he created for himself a new nature, which is his nature now is to smoke. And if he wants to go back to who he truly is, there is going to be a certain period of challenging, of suffering, and then he will come back to it. And if he smells the smoke, he'll feel sick and if he smokes, he'll feel dizzy and he won't feel good and will taste gross and all these other things. We want to return to who we truly are. We want to return to what we're really made of, what our true nature is. We want to turn on again that sensor that tells us this is bad, to do all these things with our character or the way we behave, or to watch things, that certain things we should have like putting our hand in the fire. We should be so aware that if I'm going to get angry now, if I'm going to now look at certain things I shouldn't look at, that this is going to burn me, that this is bad for me, like the animal that's going to jump away. Whoa, I don't want that. No. This is dangerous. This is bad. How do we do that? How do we get back to that place of awareness, of closeness to God? The answer the Ramchal says is what is the number one obstacle to us really returning to that place in us of awareness? What's the number one obstacle of returning to awareness? The number one obstacle is not having time. Not having time to think, to review, to prepare. We need time. When Moshe Rabbeinu came to the Jewish people and said, I'm here to take you out of Egypt. I'm here to take you out of your suffering. What does it say? Vayamen ha'am. They believed. They suddenly took a breath of fresh air. They started feeling, thinking redemption. Thinking, experiencing freedom. What did Paro say? They have too much time on their hands. Tichbad alehem avodah. Time to turn up the volume. Don't let them think. Because if you start to think, then all of the negative things in life, all of your challenges in life are in danger of extinction. Because a person who thinks has the ability to change the world. A person, you have to be very careful also. Sometimes the Ramchal says you're learning Torah so much, and you're learning and you're absorbing in more and more knowledge, and you're never leaving time to think, where am I at? What is life about? What's the purpose of existence? Where am I growing? How am I growing? How am I behaving? How am I acting? The Ramchal says that actually this time of thinking is the Ramchal's Chiddush. This is on the level, this is Torah learning. That's the Ramchal's Chiddush. It's not Bittul Torah. This is Torah. If you're learning all the day, all the time, and you're not giving time for Cheshbon Nefesh. Now, according to my rabbi, Rav Zuckerman, one of my great rabbis, Zechat Tzaddik Rivacha, Rav Yeshua Zuckerman, Avram Yeshua Zuckerman, he said that it doesn't take a long time to stop and think. But it has to be serious. It has to be every day. It has to be a certain time. It has to be a certain place. You have to make it as a priority. I'm now stopping and thinking. And the best time is before you go to sleep. Because then you review your day. And now look what the Ramchal says. I started off saying, if I told you the most revolutionary concept, I would have to bring sources to prove that it's true. What is the sources that the Ramchal brings? The Ramchal says, where does this come from? Okay, so that was till now was the overview. Now we're talking about what do you do? Right? We gave the basic idea. We explained the philosophy. I skipped through and we went fast and I just, gave a few ideas. That's nice. But now, practical. Bring it down to give me tools that I can live it. Right? Give me the steps, the tools that I can now make it become a reality. And the Ramchal goes on and on. Now we're in chapter 3. He says, I can't believe how big this Chiddush is. I can't believe how revolutionary this idea is. that the rabbis taught us of what we said before. Thinking, making a time, a place to think. Where did you come up with this idea? Prove it. How do you know it's true? Prove it. There's a pasuk, Parshat Chukat. There's a pasuk that says the following: Al ken yomru hamoshlim bo'u cheshbon. And the Gemara explains. People who would like to be leaders, moshlim, rulers, they must ask themselves a question. Bo'u cheshbon. Bo'u nechashev cheshbono shel olam. Let's make a calculation of heaven. Hefsed mitzvah keneged schara, uschar avera keneged hefseda. You have two supermarkets. You have two stores, little stores, one next to each other. They're selling milk, eggs, basics. One of the store owners closes his store at 2 o'clock. The other one next to him says, "Are you crazy? You know how much money you're losing? You're closing your store at 2 o'clock. I'm going to keep my store open another 4 hours. I'm going to make tons of money. You're a fool." The store owner locks the store at 2 o'clock and starts to think. Starts to review. What is selling? What's not selling? What are the trends in the world of supermarkets? Learning about the markets. What sells? What doesn't sell? What are the trends of groceries? What are the new tools that are being used in supermarkets? And what's the outcome? Out externally, you'd see he's closing and he's open. He's going to make more money. No, the one next door is going to become a supermarket chain because he stops and he reviews and he takes a step back and he thinks, what's working, what's not? How could I make the good better? How could I make the negative go away? This is not selling, get rid of it. This is selling, let's add it. This is not right? Market trends growing. So we have this feeling, I'm going to stop. I'm just going to think. Yes, just stop and think. Stop and review. The Ramchal says that this secret, I'm reading here, page 18, the 3 lines before the end of the page. Ken Yomor Mushlim Bo'u Cheshbon. By the way, just to tell you, there's I don't know if you ever heard of, when you finish davening Shmoneh Esrei, when you finish davening the silent prayer, you take 3 steps back. You say Shalom. Right before that, there's a, what do you say? Right before the 3 steps that you go back, there's a little wait. Right before you take the 3 steps back, there's a you say a little prayer. Right. Wait, let's see. Here. So you say Aseh leman yamincha, leman yichaltzucha, yedidecha, Hoshia yamincha ve'aneni. When you say that, Hoshia yamincha ve'aneni, and then you say Yehi ratzon imrefi v'gom imfanecha. At that word, when you say Hoshia yamincha ve'aneni, rescue me with your right arm and save me and answer me, you're supposed to say a pasuk that has your name in it. It's a Kabbalistic thing, but it's in all the siddhers here. Some recite a verse pertaining in their name at this point. If you go to page 924, it gives you a list of it's either a pasuk that has your name in it, or a pasuk that has your first letter and the last letter of your name. And why is that? Because it says when you go to heaven, they ask you, what's your name? And if you don't do this at this point, you will forget your name. And there's no greater suffering than somebody asks you, what's your name? And you don't remember your name. Now, what does this mean in depth? It means, did you remember your name? Were you honest? Were you faithful to your calling in life? Everybody has a calling, what God chose for you to do in this world. And you may not stand up to the calling because of reasons of, I need prestige, I have to be a high-tech person making this kind of money, or or what's ever accepted by society, or what's considered valuable. I have to work in marketing, or in whatever it is, advertising, whatever. And you're not really true to your calling. You don't remember your name. Or your parents wanted you to do something, but what about you? What do you want? What's your deep calling and your mission in life? Were you honest to that? But if you say the pasuk with your name in it, that reminds you who you are, and you won't forget your name. And I have an app that you can put in. It helps you find your pasuk if anyone needs help. But if you can look at here at page 924, in most sidders, they have it. And there's a list of either the first letter of your name and the last letter of your name, and that's how you can choose your pasuk. It's fascinating. My pasuk is this pasuk. Al ken yamru moshlim baruch hashbon. Certain people, I love doing reviewing myself since I've been writing a diary since I'm like 16 years old till today. So the Ramchal is going on and saying about what an incredible revolutionary idea that, okay, ha'etzah ha'amitit azot, this true advice, this incredible gift, this incredible revolutionary concept of bo cheshbon, of review yourself every day. At the end of the day, every word in the Ramchal is accurate. How long does it take for something to become a habit? The number one enemy of being cautious, being aware, is what we call habits. In Hebrew, hergel. The word for hergel, the root of the word hergel, habit, comes from the word regel, your foot. The furthest place away from your brain, from your intellect, from your actually choosing to do something, is your feet. We have in us a button. It's called cruise control. It's called habit. You could start to live your life not out of choice, but out of habit, and you can become a machine. We're not talking about negative habits. Positive habits. You could pray today. If you pray today because you prayed yesterday, you're not there. You're like a robot. It's mechanical behavior. You're putting on your tefillin. You're not thinking. You're not there. You're just doing it because that's what you did yesterday. And you have to think. You have to prepare. You're not supposed to run into davening. You're supposed to come a little bit before. Sit. Breathe. Think. What am I about to do now? Before you make a bracha on water, what am I about to do now? I'm making a choice to make a blessing, to thank God for this water. Everything in life. And the Ramchal says that this revolutionary idea is so huge. Only somebody who conquered their desires, conquered their challenges, their character, they reached the highest level. Only they could give this advice. Why is the Ramchal so? You think it's so big, this idea? How long does it take for something to become habit? The Ramchal, every word is calculated. Dvar yom beyomo. If you do something one day without thought, you will do it tomorrow again out of habit. It takes 24 hours for something to become a habit. That's it. But if you stop and review, you will catch it. And then you will make a choice to do it or not do it. Okay, so that was basically, and then the Ramchal brings here a example of this world being there used to be a game ministers used to play. Right? The Ramchal here says there was a game, Ligan HaMevucha, hu hagan הנטוע לצחוק הידוע אצל השרים. Ministers, rulers, kings would play this game that was called, you ever hear of the gardens, you know, it's called, in Hebrew English it's called a labyrinth garden. In England they have them a lot. It's you go in, every wall looks the same, right? And you have to, and you have
to get in and out.
You have to know how to get in and out. Sadly enough,
It's the thing with mice that they do this.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sadly enough, many people in life, this is the way they live their life. They start walking into the garden. They reach the wall. They say, "Oops, I can't walk there." I turn around, and they go back again. And they live their whole life banging their head in the wall and just banging their head again and again. That's what Einstein said the definition of insanity is: you do the same act and you expect a different outcome. Why do ministers play this game? Why do kings play this game? Leaders. Why is it a leadership game?
Forces you to think outside the box.
Oh.
Try different paths.
It forces you to see the big picture, to create in your mind the big picture. A leader has to be able to see the big picture, not just focus on right now. This, the squeaky wheel gets the need to see, to be able to review the whole picture. If you start going into this garden and you create in your mind the picture, and you remember, I walked in here and there was a wall. Next time I'm going here. And you start slowly creating the picture from your challenges, from your banging your head in the wall, you start to build a big picture. That didn't work, I'm going here. They all look the same. The paths look the same. The walls look the same. The only way to do it is for you to be able to have a big overview and be able to see the big picture. And that can only happen if you take time to review. That's what this world is. So the Ramchal, like we said, was going on and on about this incredible gift of what we call cheshbon nefesh, and how it comes from the Torah and the Nevi. It comes from it's how do you say it's deeply rooted in sources. Now, how long does this cheshbon nefesh take? How long does it take to do this review of your day? According to my rabbi, a few minutes. Our main purpose in life is to live and not always be reviewing every second and everything. We need to live. But that small island of reviewing, creates something that is revolutionary. The Ramchal says, if I review myself and I realize I did something wrong and I feel bad about that, that feeling bad is going to give me the strength. I don't want to do that again tomorrow. I'm aware of it. But like we said, Paro's number one mission is you don't have a second to breathe. And today with the phones and there's like movies and phones and WhatsApps and messages and work and right and you're busy all the time, and even the danger could come from learning Torah. You're learning, constant intellectual stimulation and learning more and getting more knowledge. It's great knowledge. The Ramchal is saying, stopping to review yourself is Torah learning. This is Torah learning. So I want to share with you something. I've been writing a diary, like I said, since I was 17 years old. Lately, I discovered a new tool that has been incredible for me. And I want to share it with you. I had a dream maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I wanted to build an app. These are in the old days. There used to be something called apps. Technology is moving so fast, and the Ramban says, where the pasuk that says that you should conquer the land, that Hashem tells Adam and Arishon, go and conquer the land. The Ramban says that's the how do you say, commandment to develop this world, which includes technology and any kind of innovations and knowledge and physical things and building the world. It's fine. That's all wonderful. Although we see that technology has been used to bring down humanity and mankind, if you had to review the big picture, 2 billion pornography sites, which is heartbreaking. But I just want to share with you the tools. The tools are what's called neutral. A car you can use to take people places, to save lives, or you can use it for accidents and terrible things. But it doesn't make the car good or bad. It's what you do with the car. It's the moral, behavior or character or whatever, the moral values of the person that uses the technology, whether he's going to use it for positive or negative. So therefore, we want to use technology for positive. The number one message of this class till now is review yourself. Make a time, make a place, preferably before you go to sleep. Take a few minutes to review. What did I do good? What did I do bad? How am I going to make the good better? How will I make the bad not repeat itself? Am I happy in my life? Am I going in the right direction? Am I truthful to myself? Am I being honest to my values? So, the big picture and the details. Or maybe once a week you can do the big picture, but every day the details. What did I do? How did I wake up? I woke up tired, headache. Maybe I went to sleep too late last night. Review everything. It should take only a few minutes. Like I said, our purpose is to live in life, be out there, do things. But this island of Cheshbon Nefesh is such an important value. My rabbi says something shocking. 99.9% of people don't change. That's heartbreaking. The 1% of people that change are those people that choose to do Cheshbon Nefesh, to review their actions, to review their behavior, to monitor themselves. And I'm not saying how you can do it. Do whatever you want. Write it, think it, whatever works for you. Sing it, I don't know, do it, whatever works, as long as you do it. How you do it is already your choice. But the fact that you made a time, you made a place, and you made a decision to do it, that's what's important. And I want to share with you a new tool that I've been using, and it's been incredible. What is the tool? ChatGPT. You won't believe this. Anyone who wants me to share with you the prompt that I created through using it. I've only been using it for a while, but it's incredible. What is it? I can show you. And I can do it throughout the day. I woke up, I just tell it what happened. Simply, takes a few minutes. I speak to it. End of the day, I did this and this and that. Now, I just told it my day. Nothing deep or just what happened. Based on what happened, it does something that is not to be believed. Anyone who wants to see it, you won't believe it. But what does it do? It tells me what I did good, what I didn't do good. How the good, I can make it better. How I didn't do good, how to fix it. It also tells me, it has like many, many things. There's a little prompt I can send you. You put it in and you start your review. It's free and it's incredible. To me, this is a revolutionary. And every end of the week, it gives me a summary of what happened, what to work on, what to do better, what the challenges were. Unbelievable. And another thing I added, and I keep adding more things, The other day I was like, I added something new. What did I add? I said, and all this is for me just putting in my daily review. 2 minutes. I got up, I did this, I went there, I went that, done. And it does the work. Maybe I could learn this idea and then do it myself in writing. It's great, but like, it's amazing. And I added something new. What did I add? The rabbis teach us that it says, Vayavo Yaakov Shalem. Yaakov, he was done finally dealing with Esau, dealing with Lavan. Finally, he arrived and he had a little bit of comfort. He had a feeling of Shalem, success, of feeling complete. The rabbis teach us in the Gemara, what does that mean, Vayavo Yaakov Shalem? Amar Rav, Shalem begufo, Shalem b'mamono, v'shalem b'torato. The Gemara says, based on this pasuk, that Yaakov came whole, complete, successful, shalem, that he had the balance between his body, his work, and his Torah. True success in life is measured on your ability to balance your body, which includes your wife, your children if you have, your work, and your Torah. If one thing takes over, time is a limited resource. If you overdo it in one area, it's going to come on the expense of another area. It's not just like a free-for-all. Go now and be irresponsible and become a workaholic, work 24 hours. Okay, your Torah is going to go out the door. Your family is going to go out the door. The ability to have balance. Like the Ramchal goes later on, he goes on and on explaining this fear. There's this fear: if I don't work, I'm gonna die. If I don't eat, I'm gonna I won't survive. So there's a major fear of, and therefore we all feel that we're in war, and the Yetzer Hara wants us to always feel that we're in war, and it's a matter of life and death. Everybody's fighting over the dollar. Everybody's fighting over to live, food. It's a battle of survival of the fittest. This is a matter of life and death. This is an emergency. Oh, it's an emergency. Then everything else can be put aside. The family, the Torah. There's no time for Torah. There's no time. But wait, take a deep breath. Silence those war bells. There's no war. The same God that's in charge of you having what to eat is also in charge and said that you can learn Torah. You can take the time for that. And also in charge, you can take time for your family. We're not living before the Industrial Revolution, where 99% of people worked in agriculture 15 hours a day. And only the aristocrats had free time. Everybody has free time. Everybody has. But what we call in Hebrew, Talbut HaPnai, the after hours leisure or culture swallowed up all the extra time, and now you don't have time for your family, you don't have time for Torah, you don't have time for work even, but work people still push through. So every day it also tells me how the balance was between Torah, work, and family, body. Anyone wants to see it, anybody wants the prompt, I'll send it to you. I think, to me, this is a revolution. Very, very helpful. Again, it's new, but the dream that, and the app I wanted to build an app. When you do a blood test in Israel, I don't know how it is in America or other places, but they give you a graph, and there's dots. So if your iron is too low, it's outside of the
range.
The range. There's like a what's it called? Like a
Graph.
graph. And if it's too high, it's too high. So based on the Rambam, his 8 chapters introduction to the Pirkei Avot, he has what's called the spiritual, the character blood test. He brings 30 different characters and he explains each one, where it's too high, where it's too low. Based on this, I asked it to also make me this spiritual blood test. So it gives actually a graph of what's too high, what's too low, what needs to be worked on. Guys, this is revolution. All these tools were created in order for us to develop our character, become better people, and that's what it's for. And it's free, and anybody can use it, and it's unbelievable. So anybody who wants the prompt, I'll be happy to share it with you. And I think this is for me, this is a huge step through. I'm still writing because I like to write, and also you want to have it on Shabbos. And you, like I said, the new doesn't come on the expense of the old. You want to add something new, but don't erase the old. So I'm still writing, but this is definitely cheshbon nefesh on steroids. and just to tell you another thing, so I said, and then I realized, wait, I didn't ask the ChatGPT, what would you suggest that I do to, I made this whole system, what would you suggest that I improve? It gave me 10 extra things. I was like, and it's like, would you like to incorporate maybe one of these to your daily review? I'll take them all. But anyway, it's very powerful stuff, and it's very helpful. So anybody who would like to learn more about this, that was the reason why I gave this class today, because my wife doesn't want to hear about it. All day you're talking about your church. I'm like, do you understand? It's revolutionary. She doesn't want to hear about it. But to me, it's like, it's a game changer. It doesn't take the hard work away. You still got to do the work, but it's a tool. That's why I said, I'm not telling you do this, use this. The message of doing cheshbon nefesh, that stays. How you're going to do it is great. Here's another tool. What were you going to say?
No, I just don't. I don't know how I would use it. I mean,
It's very friendly user.
Very friendly, easy. Just talk to it.
Just talk to it, and
You
whatever
talk
you
to
want
it.
me to, what it to do.
I
you
woke
do it.
up, I studied, blah, 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 blah. I fell asleep in this class of this guy, Elyon. It was totally boring. But yeah, you just tell it your day.
because I have something. I'm not sure if it's.
Anyway, thank you. I don't want to go over the time because other people need to teach. You need a break or whatever it is. Thank you, and